So we know we're going back to Northrend in the Last Titan, and that means, maybe a revamp of Northrend in some way. Now, there's two ways to revamp the world. You got the Cataclysm way, which completely breaks it, makes it almost unrecognizable, also ruining nostalgia. Or you got the way they did it with Silver Moon and Silver Pine Force and everything, which I think a lot of people reacted to positively. Could we be seeing changes coming to Northrend for the Last Titan? We know we're going back. We know things are going to happen. Are they going to break the content in pieces? Let's see what our friend, the Teller of a Thousand Truths, Doran, has to say about the changes coming to Northrend.
Northrend is going to change significantly. I mean, the Titans were so large they couldn't come in person, and now they're going to arrive in their full glory, very likely to Ulduar, and with the Void Invasion and the World Soul stuff, it's unlikely that Northrend is going to just remain intact. Some leaked maps from a year ago show some zones being completely destroyed, with the expansion being focused on...
Oh, what is this? A leaked map, Northrend. What is this, old or new? These cracks in here are new. Wormrest Ice Crown, Balon, Argent Crusade going on right there. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I mean, one thing that would have to change when we go back to Northrend that a lot of us have talked about, where are we going to stay? Where's our hub city going to be? I don't know if you guys know this. Dalaran got turned into fucking dust. So what happens? Where do we reconstruct Dalaran and put it back over Northrend? Or some people are like, we should make Ice Crown the hub city. I don't know about that. I think it'd be really cool if we go back, because we left so long ago now, and the Vrykul have built like a Vrykul hub city, right? Where it's freaking like this badass Viking hub city. I think everyone will be down for a Viking hub city. And then you make the Vrykul playable too, obviously. That's an easy one. And that's an easy W. The problem is Blizzard doesn't like easy Ws. I mean, Amani Trolls being playable was an easy one. They don't want to do that either. They won't remake Dalaran. Yeah, I don't think they'll remake Dalaran either. I think my Vrykul idea is more likely. And then you put some nice like Viking music. Oh my god, with the violins and the it'd be good. It'd be good, man.
Storm Peaks and Ice Crown. While it won't likely be this drastic, we do have some interesting interviews and hints showing what could happen. Recently, we learned of some underground system under this continent, and just like how Odin airlifted Ulduar, the Titans could do the same thing, and we might discover parts of Ulduar we had never seen. So what is this new Northrend? We will see. If you think classic, especially hardcore, there is the perfect survival guide with rested XP. It gives you the safest routes, hostile enemy warnings, and now even with TBC hardcore it will be 100% optimized for straight survival, amongst getting the absolute best, most optimal routes and information. Furthermore, rested XP offers midnight guides too, but best of all, if you use my link below, you will get 10% off your order immediately. So check out rested XP.
Nice.
Something really interesting that has actually been going on for a while now, and
you're right,
lately,
those zones
is
weren't
the
on
fact
there.
that it seems like Northrend is not going to be what it seems. This leak started back in like August 2025, which makes sense, like with this whiteboard map, which is kind of crazy, but it actually does make some sense when you examine it a bit more clearly. However, I mean,
interestingly enough, like removing some zones, like I don't know how do you remove Grizzly Hills without the music and everything else? Maybe you still have it, but you've expanded it a little bit. But I mean, Blizzard basically did that with Silver Pine Forest and everything. It's expanded. Some of the zones that were there have been removed now, but the zones that do exist are much bigger and in higher fidelity and much more detailed. So maybe they go that route. But I mean, if you remove Grizzly Hills from the game, you got to keep it, and it's still intact. I mean, that's one of players' favorite zones in the entire game. The music alone. You can't get rid of that shit. So they got to be careful with how they do some of this.
Does make some sense when you examine it a bit more clearly. However, I mean, let's just be real. The authenticity of this does seem kind of like BS. I mean, I think the time of leaks, like we had a decade ago with like leaked artwork, is really kind of over. I mean, AI has advanced so much, you can literally fake anything very believably to make it look believable. So it's just like a new era, and even if the images make sense, I mean, it's really hard to even leak anything at this point. However, what does make sense though is the reasoning and some of the hints that we had gotten so far. We've seen this with Quarterlast, which for them was essentially just testing the ground, and this is not my opinion, this is from an interview that you can watch on YouTube, the official one from a few months back. They did say that they liked the reception of Quotalas from the audience, they learned a
Right,
lot,
right.
but Northrend is going to be a much bigger challenge. Not only is Northrend, I mean, objectively, it is more iconic, it is a more iconic location, but they have a lot more stuff to honor there. However, seeing how they pulled off Quotalas, it's unlikely that Northrend is going to just be like a revamp.
I mean, it's Northrend's iconic, but the upper half of the Eastern Kingdom was which is what got all the love for this expansion. That's an iconic zone too. I mean, talking about old world Azeroth, that's got some of the most iconic locations in the game in it. We're talking about, you know, the obviously the Dead Scar was there, Lordaeron is there, Scarlet Monastery, all these freaking you know, important zones exist in Eastern Kingdoms. Important locations exist in Eastern Kingdoms. So they I think they did a good job with it. I do. And I would like to see that treatment get spread across all of Azeroth. I think they just, you know, be careful with it, with Northrend a little bit. You know, there's some love over there that we have for some of these zones.
Version of what we had before, and that there won't be some very big changes. All hints right now are pointing at some sort of a shattering. It's likely that two things will happen at once.
No,
the Void
not
Invasion might
Cataclysm
continue,
style.
and the Titans will definitely return, which I don't think is going to leave Northrend intact. If you remember that BlizzCon 2026 announcement, you had a little trailer, like a little teaser for a few seconds from last year, and they showed us like a void in the background of Northrend, which indicates that we won't be done with the void by the time of the last Titan.
Yeah, I would say BlizzCon is lining up for us to get the Last Titan, like official first cinematic of the Last Titan. Now, what that cinematic is it a, you know, full long form cinematic, or is it just like a teaser cinematic? I'm not sure, but there's going to be Last Titan shit happening at BlizzCon. I think that's almost guaranteed. Also, Classic Plus, that's going to be the other big one. So it's going to be a big BlizzCon for Blizzard in general. Now, how much are they going to show us for the Last Titan? I don't know. At that point, we should be in season 2. All right, we should be in season 2 of Midnight. So we'll see. Maybe we get some season 3 raid previews and stuff too. Maybe they'll move the seat of the Pantheon to orbit Azeroth. I definitely think the seat of the Pantheon's coming to Azeroth. I don't know where they're going to put it, but it's definitely coming.
Big event though, and this one is confirmed, is the return of the Titans.
Put it in the skybox, maybe.
Northrend itself. Keep in mind, back in the day, the Titans had created the Keepers because they were so large they couldn't fit Azeroth themselves without damaging it. The Titans since then have been significantly weakened after they were defeated by Sageras, but nonetheless, all of them arriving at once, I don't think is going to leave the ground intact. It's not just because they're so massive, so their arrival, like they're just gonna fall from the sky and shatter the ground, but because they are going to arrive to Northrend out of all the places for a reason. Very likely to activate some hidden mechanism around Ulduar. Remember, back in the day, they built that Algalon mechanism to just blow up the entire planet. It's likely that there is something else built in there as well. Now, the other thing...
Yeah, he's talking about the reorigination chamber and that button that's supposed to like wipe Azeroth's surface clean, basically.
What I want to talk about is that this Northrend will be different. I mean, Northrend itself has changed since we've been there, and we did get the book, but not really by a lot. I mean, we did get some updates with the Scourge, some zones being less inhabited or more inhabited, less Horde and Alliance presence than it was back in Rat, but all of this was kind of minor. I mean, fundamentally, this Northrend will be different itself because during Rat, the entire campaign and Northrend itself was focused on the Lich King, Icecrown, Scourge, and in the Last Titan, this will also be relevant, but it likely won't be the main focus. The main focus is almost certainly going to be on Storm Peaks and Ulduar, and I'm expecting the biggest changes there, and the other zones will be kind of more supporting to this main storyline, and this just by itself changes everything. Now, onto the map, that supposedly leaked map that you can see from about a year back. It points that Icecrown is mainly intact. The reason for that, in my opinion, is because of the World Soul mechanism. There is almost certainly there. I mean, remember the end of Shadow?
I'll say I like that the Argent Crusades there. I freaking like that because I love the Argent Crusade stuff. Nexus is still there. Sholazar, the Earthen Ring. Interesting. Valdrakken Accord. So I'm sure the Dragonflight Valdrakken Accord, like Dragonflight's going to have an update basically to the Valdrakken Accord. There's going to be dragon shit happening in Wyrmrest for sure. Vordrasil. What the hell's this? What's Vordrasil?
That is almost certainly there. I mean, remember the end of Shadowlands and how the Jailer built the mechanism to take the essence? Very likely some sort of Titan machine. However, it does appear that everything around Storm Peaks shattered, and this makes sense because the Titans would arrive to this place. It seems like the entire
Because
eastern
of
part was
Ulduar.
broken into isles, and personally I think this part is BS because Grizzly Hills is one of the most popular zones
Yeah.
in all the World of Warcraft. So
You can't do it. Don't do it, Blizzard. Don't be breaking up Grizzly Hills. That's scary. That's some scary shit. People will not like that. An up-res Grizzly Hills, you know, with modern fidelity and stuff would be nice. And the music, just keep it exactly how it was. That was already a chef's kiss.
now they would destroy it entirely, so don't take the map literally, but something like some zones breaking into isles actually makes sense, and it will kind of give us a different look of Northrend while kind of preserving the theme.
Right, Vordrasil is the snap tree. It's one of the world trees, right? I mean, I get the Asil shit on it, but I don't know why it's I'm not remembering what the hell we did with Vordrasil.
Continent. It would make sense that Ulduar is like ground zero and everything around it is going to shatter. One thing I also think is very interesting is the lore itself. So remember when Odin created his holes, he literally just airlifted a part of Ulduar and brought it up into the air, and he was like the main
Right,
Titan
it's the
Keeper
warrior
guy
class hall.
at the time. I think something like this could totally be possible as well. I mean, Ulduar is a lot more than a Titan facility. We recently learned that this mechanism connecting all the Titan facilities on Azeroth and Ulduar is like the command center. Even that world-destroying mechanism was to be done from Ulduar. So while we did explore Ulduar back in the day, I think there is a lot.
They could, someone in chat, Doc, they could build Veldraken into a city. I don't think we need another Dragon Hub city, though, for an expansion. I don't think people would be that into it. It's the same architecture. The entirety of Dragonflight's architecture is basically inspired by the original stuff we saw in Wyrmrest. So I don't think that would be very exciting. I think a Vrykul city. That would hit the spot.
More to this place than we had seen back in Vrat. I could totally see the Titans themselves like airlifting the entirety of Ulduar and having it as like some sort of like a sky fortress, but at the very least it is going to get significantly revamped, and it will be larger if this is where the Titans are going to be at. So the main thing is I think the Storm Peaks and Icecrown are going to be the focal point of this expansion, but mainly Storm Peaks, and the Scourge will be relevant, and we have hints that they will just kind of be switching roles. Like the Titan part and the Scourge were important in Vrat, but in the last Titan it will kind of be the other way around. However, as that whiteboard map shows, other zones could be split away, like the Nexus could be switched. And also, if you watched my videos previously, the Dragonflight book talked about Iridikron and his base under Northrend.
Yes,
like there is some elaborate underground network.
No, Iridikron's definitely playing a role in Northrend. We know that. That's a guarantee. It's literally the entirety of what Dragonflight leads up to in terms of his storyline. So he's going to be there. He's probably going to be in Wyrmrest somewhere or that general area. Who knows if he wants to play? I mean, he's already done the whole I'm going to drain the power of God Galakron. You know, he's already played that entire rollout. So Galakron's bones, I guess they mean nothing right now unless he plans to like B-res this guy or something. But he's going to be out there somewhere.
Under there that we never saw, specifically around Icecrown, which I think is also related to the Titans. Furthermore, this also explains the giant Nerubian network under Azeroth, the network that, by the way, also had old god beings under. And also, remember the War Within. We've learned that Northrend and Cancelgar Nerubians were in contact and could reach each other, and this is like the entire different part of the world. I think this will be a part of the story as well, but probably something minor like how we have the Amani right now. Another interesting part of the story could be the Vrykul that many speculate could even be the next playable race.
Playable race? Blizzard do it? No, they're not going to do it. Watch, they're going to create some random race and try to shoehorn that lore in. That's what they like to do these days. Same, you going to do Keystay? Probably not. Wyrmrest could be a raid or dungeon to reclaim it as a city for all we know. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I could imagine us raiding it. Maybe Iridikron would be the boss in that raid.
And seeing how they were almost destroyed back in the day, something new could come up with them. So realistically, it's totally possible that Northrend will be very, very different. Despite not changing that much after Shadowlands, the arrival of the Titans very soon, and this whole World Soul Saga stuff is likely going to shatter everything we currently have. They probably won't go as crazy as this map shows, and probably won't blow up like 3 whole zones and make it like smaller, but it's likely that Storm Peaks and Icecrown could be enlarged, and the main point of the expansion is going to be on that focus, like with that underground network, while the surrounding areas could potentially be split, but they might not have to be fully destroyed. It could kind of be similar to Cataclysm and like Stranglethrone Rail as it was changed during the Shattering, or something like the Thousand.
They got to be careful with the Cataclysm level revamp for sure. Galakron might better be a boss. They've been dangling that on in front of us for years. Look, Galakron. One thing I thought that was really cool about him, and one reason why I always liked him was he was a boss that acknowledged the player base could fuck him up. Like he always talked about it. He warned his siblings of it. Like don't challenge these guys head on. And even when Iridicron, we do fight him in that one fight, he's doing it in like that, that time ways dungeon where he can reverse time. Um, he always acknowledged that maybe taking on the players was a bad idea. He understood that we've done this a lot of times with other big bads and defeated them. It was kind of like almost breaking a fourth wall kind of thing with Iridicron, where he was like, hey, these guys, every expansion, they show up and beat the shit out of bosses. I'm not going to be the next one, so I'm going to kind of, default away from these guys. And when then Farak didn't listen to him, and obviously we dished away with him. So I always thought that was cool about Iridicron, but eventually we probably are going to fight him.
The needles. Like, it's kind of the same zone. They didn't just blow it out completely, but it could be changed in that way. Some zones like Grizzly Hills maybe being split into islands, or maybe some flooding, or who knows. But all the hints right now are pointing at the fact that very likely Northrend won't just be revamped. It won't be like a 2027 version of Rat. It's likely that we're in for a completely new land with a completely different theme than it was 20 years ago. Thank you for watching. Check out all the hints we have on Azot returning by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my brand new Witcher Lore channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Nice. Nice video overall from Doran. I mean, a Northrend revamp to me is not like a shocker. That's not a surprise. I think we all know that's coming. Just a matter of like how they do the revamp. Is it going to be Silver Moon, Silver Pine Forest style, or is it going to be, Cataclysm style where shit gets a little bit broken and almost unrecognizable in some places? I'm hoping for the first iteration I mentioned, more like what we got in Midnight in terms of revamp, and then give me my Vrykul city, and I'll be a happy man. I'll be a happy man. Hopefully it happens. Nice video overall from Doran.